All right, good evening, nerds around the world, and welcome to episode 114 of the Nerds Unite as One podcast. I am Paul English, your host tonight, and as always, we have a terrific show for you and a great group that I'm going to introduce to you as well, beginning with Mr. Colton Hunt. How are you, sir?
Hey everyone, I'm glad to be back. I think this might be a pretty fun show. I'm looking forward to it.
It is indeed, will be indeed, hopefully. Mike Kulik from Geek Salad is also with us. Mike, how are you?
Not too bad. I know you and Colton are here, but where's the rest of the great group?
Yeah.
It's a small but great group. It's small but great.
We lost them in the Phantom Zone some time back. They're still fighting their way out.
Hopefully they will join us soon. Okay, guys, so today we are going to be doing something that we don't do too often. I wish we did more often. That's going to be video game-based show. And in this episode, it's going to be something special because we're not going to be a normal discussion about video games. This is going to be a video game interrogation episode. Each one of us has a game that we've either played nonstop recently or for a period of like months at some point played almost nonstop. So for this episode, each one of us will list that game, fits in that category, and then we're going to grill each other to find out what it is about this game that we love so damn much. And maybe by the end, we'll decide, hey, you know what? Maybe this is a game I want to try. So that's kind of the outline. So let's get started. Colton, what is your favorite game? What is your game you want to bring up?
All right, my game is one of the oddest yet most awesome crossover sort of things from the year 2002. I'm talking about Kingdom Hearts, the original.
Okay. Mike, what game do you wish to have grilled for you?
My game is, I don't have it with me because I just downloaded it on my PS4, but it is the classic game Psychonauts.
Okay. And my game is one that you've heard me talk about a couple times already on this show. It is Fallout 4. All right, Colton, you are the first. Prepared to be grilled. Mike, why don't you start off with your first question to Colton regarding Kingdom Hearts 1.
Okay. Well, I'll just go with what you said. You said the honest but most compelling game you've played in a while. So what makes it so compelling for you?
It's a very classic battle, of good versus evil. They play it as straight as they possibly can, but there's a lot of sincerity to it, It feels like they really do believe it. They're like not doing this just because it's like cheesy or something easy to produce. It's like when you, for example, when Sora is about to fight Riku for the first time, or fight Riku in Hollow Bastion, and he's like, "I need a weapon. My friends are my power." That is that's such a cliched line, but I mean, the way Haley Joel Osment delivers it, you really believe. You actually, believe in the power of friendship, and that's what's gonna, pull him through. And then after you win the battle, and the beast comes out of the rejoins the party, and he's like, "So your heart won this battle." It's classic Disney. It's a classic Disney line, but hey, because it's Disney, it just works, The good guys, and ultimately, what I also love about it is just this. Also, another thing I love about it is just the way they work into all these Disney worlds and whatnot. It makes you. I think it's like if this were any other sort of thing, you probably would find it to be super cliche. But since Disney knows how to pull at your heartstrings and make things that would otherwise, make you roll your eyes in disgust, it really, I don't know. I'm rambling, I know, but let me just get myself together for a second. I guess what makes it, like I said, what makes it really compelling is just the amount of sincerity to it. It's the voice acting, like from all the characters, is just very on point. Like when Riku is about to, has to fight back against Anthem's influence, and he tells everybody to run. You feel you're pretty much on the dude's side. Then there's the scene where he simply tells Sora, "Take care of her," when he's about to be sealed on the inside of Kingdom Hearts. And I felt myself thinking, "Don't worry, Riku, I will." And then Sora then sees Kairi about to be taken back to Destiny Islands, and he's like, "Don't worry, Kairi, I'm with you. I'm always with you too. I'll come back to you, I promise." And she says, "I know you will." And when their hands separate and the theme to the game, Simple and Clean, starts playing, I get choked up every single time. I mean, just the visuals, the song, the pacing of everything from that ending. It's just damned. I mean, I just had to. Again, I wasn't crying, but I was crying on the inside. Okay, I mean, I dare anybody to watch that ending and not feel something. All right, and probably the best thing about it of all is they managed to make Mickey Mouse into a badass. When the two giant Heartless are emerging and they're about to attack our heroes, Mickey takes them both out. Then he pulls out his own Keyblade and he's like, "Now, Sora, let's close this door for good." And I'm like, "Roger, Mickey."
And really, the scene where Kairi kind of revives Sora, that one always gets me real hard.
Yeah, she saves him with a hug, and
yeah.
Again, it should be silly, but it really gets you, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Colton, what drew you to this game in the first place?
That's an interesting story, maybe. So when I first saw the commercials for the game, I thought this looks weird. I was not really. It didn't really catch my attention that much, just because I was thinking, are those Disney characters fighting alongside some random person I'd never seen before? I'm thinking, yeah, okay, never mind. I'll just move on with my life. And then I saw, even when the Disney Channel started promoting it with their Disney Secret Lab spots, I'm thinking, I still have no idea what this game is about or what the playing mechanics are. So I just moved on with my life. But then when I was watching the G4 TV show Cheat, yep, G4 TV was still a thing way back then. Yep. When I was watching the TV. Well, I was watching cheats, and they were actually covering Kingdom Hearts, and I saw them showing cheats for how to beat the secret bosses for Agrabah and Neverland. I'm like, holy crap, this actually looked awesome! Like seeing the combat system in action, seeing what some of the bosses and characters are actually like, and how they sounded in action. I'm like, okay, I need to buy this game now. So I go out and I go to my nearest Target or Walmart, whichever was closest to me. Walmart was closest to me. So went to my nearest Walmart, got my copy immediately, and I put it in, and my life was, that was the game that I dedicated almost all my time to playing. I mean, I would play it as long as I possibly could, even on school nights when I was when I had a time, I had a time limit and all that jazz. I had to stop playing by a certain time. I'm like, oh please, just let me beat this boss. I was getting my ass handed to me by Ursula for the entirety of the boss fight, but I did not give up, even though I had to because I had to go to bed and what have you. But yeah, I'm like, once I saw the game in action, I knew that this is actually something that could potentially be awesome, and it turns out it was.
Okay, Mike, any other questions?
Yeah. What's your favorite Disney realm in it?
My favorite Disney realm? That's a good question. And you're talking about realms that are only Disney, right? So none of the other levels are Hollow Bastion or anything like that.
Hell no. Whatever. Which of the realms of Kingdom Hearts is your favorite?
My favorite level was Hollow Bastion, I think. It's by far the longest and most frustrating level in the entire game, but that's part of what makes it special. When Sora and company first arrived there, it just I felt kind of creeped out at first. Well, that was the point. You see Hollow Bastion in the distance, and that very creepy and ominous musical score is playing. It really feels like this is the definitely final dungeon of the game, and one of the game's developers said a lesser game would have definitely ended at Hollow Bastion. So when we arrive there, and then suddenly not only do we find out that the Beast is there, and then he joins our party, but then we lose the Keyblade, and we have to temporarily fight with just just a toy sword. So of course, naturally, any player that has any common sense would let Beast do all the hard work. But the way the game just kept escalating and its tension in that level, it was from fighting Riku to getting back the Keyblade to then confronting Maleficent, taking her down, and then she gets transformed into Dragon Maleficent. And then the reveal we've all been waiting for, where Sora was like, "Tell me, who are you?" "It is I, Ansem." I'm like, holy crap, Ansem, the guy who's purports to be reading this entire time. That was an awesome twist. Of course, now there's the whole convoluted mess of Ansem, Xemnas, Xehanort, the Seeker of Darkness. I've lost track of how many reveals this series has had, but back then that was a jaw-dropping reveal. And then it turns out that after we defeat Ansem, we didn't have to retreat and then go rushing back in, and we had to take on one of the biggest Heartless in the entire game, of the Behemoth, and the to take down the final or to seal the final keyhole. I mean, damn, was there just so much epicness in this final or second to last stage in the game. But if I had to pick my favorite realm of the Disney characters, it might be Neverland, I think. I just liked the Heartless that were there, you know, some of the story that we got from Riku, from once again being reunited with Kairi and Riku, Peter Pan, playing how Peter Pan and Sora played off each other, and then seeing Sora fly, you know, seeing Sora fly, and then the boss battle with Captain Nick was pretty humorous, especially the part where you can actually lure Hook off the boat, and Hook almost falls into the water, then he goes rushing back into the air and shouts, "You're not getting the other hand!" referring to the crocodile. And then I love the look of just awe on Sora's face when he's talking about how he managed to fly, and he's like, "I can't wait to tell Kairi about this, so she probably wouldn't believe me." And then Pan is like, "You can take her to Neverland sometime, let her try herself." So overall, yeah, those were my, I think, my favorite stages in the game.
All right. How's the control system work? Because I've played a few games where it's like there's too many like buttons, combos to memorize, all kinds of, it kind of really drags the game down. So is there anything convoluted about this game that would turn some people off, or is the mechanics of it very simple?
I think the mechanics are pretty simple. You know, the camera works. The camera and target lock system, they flow pretty well, I think. And the way you can work in, you know, magic spells and all that jazz, you can the shortcut. You can easily select shortcut keys, which spells you think you are best with and whatnot, and it's easy to access. And even if you don't use the shortcut keys, it's easy to access the other spells throughout the game, like see what spells like stop or gravity or whatever. I primarily skipped to the first spells that I got of fire, thunder, blizzard, and was there a fourth spell? I can't.
Healing,
remember.
I think.
Yeah, healing. Those spells you can really just get by easily on those spells. But then there's a whole array of combos you can use, like Sonic Blade, Strike Raid. I primarily didn't use that many of the combos, but I've seen other people playing the game, and those moves are relatively simple to use. If you're pretty good, you just have to be good with how much you manage your magic power and all that jazz, because certain moves use up a lot more than others. But it's easy to get the hang of, I think, and you won't be at a disadvantage if you primarily don't use the special moves.
Okay, all right. Mike, any other questions?
Nah, I think I'm good with that.
As am I.
Well, then, one final note. I think one of my favorite scenes from the game, I think, is when Sora is, it's the world other than the ending. It's at the beginning of the game when the Heartless first attack Destiny Islands, and at first, you know, you're trying to use your wooden sword to take them down, only it's not causing any damage to the Heartless. I'm like, okay, this might be a bit of a problem. Then I managed to reach Riku, and then Riku's like, the door is open. We can finally go to the outside world. And then he does that iconic shot where he stretches out his hand to Sora, asking him to take it. And Sora tries to as they're being consumed by the darkness. And then suddenly the screen turns black. And then a bright light shines, and suddenly Sora is holding the Keyblade. And then we see the words flashing on the screen, Keyblade, Keyblade. And when the Heartless start attacking and Sora actually can, you know, hurt them now, I felt pretty powerful, I'd say, you know, that I can, you know, that the tide has turned, I can now, and I might have a shot at saving Destiny Islands. Granted, we fail in spectacular fashion, but hey, we still get to take down the dark side, Heartless, and then move on to a pretty cool adventure. One that I foolishly and idiotically played on expert mode my first time, and this was back in 2002, so 15 years ago. Is it 15? This is like 15 years ago. I was 11 years old at the time, so you can imagine how good an 11-year-old was at playing this game on hard mode. I was so bad at trying to take down the guard armor that I was legitimately. I think I said this in our last video game episode. I was like so bad at fighting the guard armor that I was legitimately shocked when I actually started winning, but like maybe 30 deaths later or something like that.
All right. Let's move on to Mike's game. Are you ready to be grilled, Mike?
Psychonauts. I found it.
All right.
Original Xbox version.
So, Colton, well, you go first. What is your first question for Mike?
Okay, so again, when I was watching G4 TV, that was my first time ever seeing Psychonauts, and all I had to think was, "This looks absolutely insane." So I want to know is what was it about this game that about this insanity that drew you to it, or was it the insanity?
Well, appropriate words. And basically, the game is about dealing with the insane in a sense. But what attracted me first to it was the creator of it, Tim Schafer. He was out of the original old Lucas Arts Entertainment Group. Worked on he may have worked on the original Maniac Mansion, back in like the '90s. But I know he worked on some of my favorite adventure games, like Monkey Island, Monkey Island 2. Actually, The Curse of Monkey Island, which came out right before this one. He did Grim Fandango. He's done Full Throttle. So a lot of like the old classic Lucas Arts adventure games. He had a heavy hand in, and so when I saw he came up with this platformer game that dealt with going into people's weird like psyches. I was like, sure, okay, I'll give it a shot, and I'm so glad I did.
Cool.
Oh yeah. My question is pretty simple. I've never even heard of this game. So for people who've never heard of it, what is this game about? Without spoiling it.
All right, yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's a platformer. Basically, you play this kid named Raz, short for Rasputin, who, like before the game begins, he runs away from his family at the circus to break into this summer camp that helps train all these like little 7 to 8 year olds on how to use psychic powers. But since they're like the little kids, they're like they're all these side plots of who likes her, and and what kid is like just kind of like the outcast, and it's a very very goofy character designs as well. So that can throw off some people, but basically you go you have to kind of train your psychic powers, things like levitation and psychic blast and stuff like that. But you do that by going into people's minds and helping them deal with their own psychic like mental problems. Like, first you go into the minds of the camp counselors, and that's not like helping them deal with their problems. So it's just doing training. But later on, as the big plot line of the game starts up, you have to actually start going into people's minds and dealing with their mental issues. Not is a minor spoiler, but there's this giant mutant lungfish in the lake of the summer camp that you have to go into his mind, and his mind is one of the best levels in the entire game because it's an entire parody on Godzilla movies. Like, you're this huge giant guy walking through this lungfishopolis, and you can destroy all the city, all the buildings. You have all these little guys, little tiny lungfish running away from you, going, it's Goggalore, because they call you Goggalore because your character wears goggles. And the main bad guy is a parody of Gamera, and so it's just hilarious. And like, some of these minds are just, there's one that looks straight out of like an MC Escher sketch. It's just like, it's an entire neighborhood, but like the roads are kind of like going up and over themselves, and you have to jump across gaps to get to another level. It's just it's really weird, but it is so creative, and the level designs is just amazing. So that's basically the upshot of the game.
Yeah, I think I'll have to go on YouTube and check that level out when we're finished with this conversation.
Yeah. I'll have to see if there's any Let's Plays of it.
Lungfishopolis. And the other one I mentioned is I think it's just called The Neighborhood. But it's like basically the person that you go into the mind is like this super paranoid. It's like, okay, well, this guy is going to get this guy, but this guy is watching me all the time. And so like whenever you're walking past like this little like a trash can on the side of the road, this little camera pops out, takes a picture of you, and goes back down. And when you walk by these these fake plastic flamingos on someone's lawn, and it takes a picture of you. Yeah, it's insane. Like I said, the character design is very odd. So just brace yourself. It looks really weird, but it's ingeniously fun.
Colton, back to you.
Was this game made on drugs? That's not my question, but
no, but a couple of levels look like they might be.
Okay, and now in all seriousness, so a game about psychic powers that's got to have some pretty fun gaming mechanics, I'd say. So what would you say was your favorite?
Oh, I mean, once you get the power of levitation, that's probably my favorite one, because basically how it manifests itself is that it like becomes this little ball of like this little glowing ball that you can hop onto and just like kind of run around the levels and run around the camp and all that. And like, if you jump while you're on it, it makes you bounce really high. But once you like jump and high, you can actually hit one of the other buttons, and you flip and you start floating on it like it's a hot air balloon.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's probably my favorite. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was made. The game that was made in I think 2004, and some of the camera work is not the best. There have been a couple of times where I've done a jump, I've landed on a platform, and some of the camera is behind the rear wall, so I can't see anything. You have to like take a couple of steps forward, get it out there, and some of the jump mechanics is not the most precise, which is generally not an issue except in the last level. The last level can be a real frustrating one if you can't get some of the jumps down precisely. But with enough swearing, I'm sure you can get through it. The payoff is worth it. It's a great ending.
All right, cool.
The opposite end, Mike, is there anything about this game that like turned you off to it that would make you say, you know what, if you don't like these things, I'd probably stay away from it if I were you?
Well, I mean, like I was saying, some of the jump and camera mechanics are not as precise as they probably could be, or as fluid as they should be. Again, the game is 13 years old at this point, and yeah, I mean the character design is not. It's very cartoonish in a somewhat extreme way at times. So that can really throw people off. Like just look at the back of the game here. That's the main character, Raz, right there, and that's how he actually does look in the game. Let me see. Yeah, I mean this guy right here. It's the coach. He's one of the counselors at the camp. So like they're very. It's very.
Feels like what if Tim Burton made it. Feels like what if Tim Burton made a video game almost.
Yeah. You're not far off. Yeah, the character designs are okay. Here's a better picture of the coach right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how he actually looks in the game. So yeah, I'm just trying to flip through the instruction manual. I'm surprised I have still the instruction manual. But okay, yeah. All right, so there's your character Raz. There's your quasi romantic interest Lily. There's the coach,
like the ant from the DreamWorks movie.
Yeah, it's not too far off. There's the guy that walks around the camp and he's like the janitor and all that. He's the chef and all that. So it's. Yeah, and the most common villains are these censors, and they just like run around people's minds trying to kick you out. So yeah, like I said, the animation style is definitely takes a bit of getting used to. A lot of the camp, a lot of the kids around the camp look very odd. The camp bully is really skinny, and he's got this hair that just looks like a bunch of cotton candy. But if you can get past that, it is absolutely worth playing. It is so much fun. Just the level design alone is worth every penny you spend for it.
Intriguing. I think I'm good as far as questions go. Colton, you got anything else?
I got one more question.
Right.
What would you say is your favorite? Going off the character design a bit, what would you say is your favorite character design?
You know what? There's one level where you go into it. It's the whole level is very, very striking colors. It's like mostly black, but it's got like all the buildings and all the ledges and all that are lined out in like almost a neon colors. It looks like a black velvet painting. It's actually the level is called Black Velvetopia, and just that's the only level where your character doesn't have their normal outfit on. It's actually just like a black like neon striped outfit, and just like the like all the people that you encounter along it just have the same that like, whole black velvet painting look to it, and it's very, very striking. But it's really cool looking, especially you just put it on on a big screen TV, turn off the lights, and just let those colors pop. The game also has a great sense of humor about it. I mean, unless you couldn't tell by the animation style, it is hilariously funny, as the majority of Tim Schafer's games are. So, yeah, if you want a game that's good for a laugh, absolutely.
I've seen clips from the game, and I remember there was this one scene where like Raz and Lily are just having a conversation, and out of nowhere, Lily's like, "Oh my god, let's make out!" And then Raz like spends like the next minute being like, "Make out?" Like kiss, and like Lily's like moving on to an entirely different conversation, and Raz is still trying to like piece together what she meant by that and everything.
It's great. Like later on, like not long after that, like you find her again, and like all right. So before we go any further, now when you said kiss, did you mean like an actual kiss, like an open mouth, or like are we boyfriend and girlfriend now? She's like, Raz, can we discuss this later?
Girls are a mystery that
the
just cannot be solved.
The greatest mystery that God chose to give on this
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right.
That sounds like a pretty good game. I might, if I ever get a chance, if I ever get a new gaming system, and I might download it myself or something.
Yeah, I just bought it on PS4 for $10. Best $10 I spent in a long time.
All right, I'm gonna have to find a Let's Play of that. Okay, I had it all along. I don't think I put enough in. Played it. Fallout 4. This is my game.
Wait, Paul. You like Fallout 4? The hell you say? I'd never heard that before.
That's news to me.
I'm ready. Bring it.
All right, then my first question for you is, all right, everyone else has been asked this, so what drew you to Fallout 4?
Well, at the time, I was binge playing the Assassin's Creed games, and at around that time, my taste in gaming is starting to evolve. So I was starting to become more into like story-heavy games, and I knew this game got a lot of hype. Was getting a lot of hype, especially around its release, and it was getting some positive reviews that I was reading. So, like, what is the deal with this game? So I watched a Let's Play of it by Tetra Ninja, and after watching him go through, like, this is a game I might be genuinely interested in, but I'm not going to spend like, $30, $40 to get it. But if I can find it for a decent price, I might pick it up. Sure enough, I found it. I was able to get it at GameStop for $15, and I haven't stopped playing it since. Granted, it was pre-owned, but it's only $15. I figured that's worth it, and I pretty much haven't stopped playing it since. This game has consumed my life since then, pretty much. That's how it started.
That's how it starts. The fever, the rage, the feeling of power. Wait, sorry, wrong story.
So let's plays are a good thing for if you were interested in a game but don't want to spend the money, try it out for yourself before knowing what you're getting into. That's what I would say.
All right. My question is, what was there ever a moment where you went into a battle and you quickly realized, oh, I am way out of my league here?
Yes. That actually happened quite often when I started playing for the first time. I accepted a mission from a farmer to retrieve his special sword from a group of raiders known as the Forged. I went to their hideout, or their base in Saugus Ironworks, and I got my ass whooped straight away. I'm like, okay, I am nowhere near strong enough to take these guys down, so I will come back. Yeah, and I died, and so like, okay, so when I spawned again, I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. I'll just come back when I'm stronger. So that happened quite a bit when I started playing this game.
I know how that feels.
Kind of reminds me of a couple times in New Vegas where I said, oh, let's just walk north. Everyone's saying go south, but I'll walk north. Yeah, there are a bunch of death claws there. Didn't last long there.
Don't you just love it how video games some games just allow you to go on your own path, even if it might not be a good idea.
And that was on very easy difficulty, I mind you. That was on very easy, the easiest level you can get. I got my ass handed to me.
I think I'll come back to this after we're all finished with Kingdom Hearts. But my next question, are you finished, Mike?
No, yeah, that was my question.
All right. My next question is, this is a two-parter, but have you ever played the other Fallout games?
No, I have not.
Okay, then never mind. I was going to ask, was there anything from the previous games that might have been left out in this game that you would have liked to have seen? But
I have not, though. I've heard that a lot of veteran Fallout players were kind of upset about the downgrading the RPG elements and upping the shooter elements. But I understand. I guess I do understand in a way why Bethesda chose it, because they want to expand the Fallout franchise to a newer audience. Like, I don't think I've seen some videos of like older Fallout games, like especially the first two, and to be honest with you, I don't think I would have enjoyed those games. Like, maybe I would have liked Fallout 3, but the first two, I don't think I would have enjoyed those.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, let me try to think of another aspect I can ask you then.
Well, Mike?
Yeah, go to Mike. I'll think of another question.
Yeah, well, I mean, since you've devoted so much energy to this game, have you tried out any of the DLC for it yet?
Oh yeah, I've just gone through my second playthrough. I actually just beat the game with my second playthrough, my Railroad playthrough. But I went through all the DLC with my Minutemen playthrough.
So what was your
factions?
So what was your favorite DLC edition, and why?
Hands down, Far Harbor. I mean, the Far Harbor was just. That was so well handled, and I tell you, that one was rough because it's like the ultimate decision I went through, the ultimate ending I chose, even though I knew it was the right decision to make, especially for my playthrough style, I felt like shit. Like, God, I feel like an asshole for doing this. But though, yeah, that was like there are no good endings to Far Harbor. I know the ending. I know all possible endings that. They all suck, especially if you're a morally good character. Like, God, I felt like an asshole for doing what I did, even though I knew it was the right thing to do. So Far Harbor definitely followed closely by Nuka World. Though I don't think I'm going to be getting much out of that until I go for an evil ending. Because that DLC is designed for like players who actually want to be evil. If you're a morally good character, you're not going to get much out of it.
Interesting.
That'll come with my fourth playthrough.
All right, cool.
All right, cool. Okay, I thought of another question.
Okay.
As much as you love this game, is there any like mechanics that you wish you could just erase from the game and not have to deal with anymore?
Well, it has a bad habit of crashing on me, so that really sucks. Like there again, I'm in the heat of battle, all of a sudden problem occur and the system crashes. Like, are you fucking serious? Granted, it's not happening like every 5 minutes or anything. It only happens once every couple of days, but still.
Maybe it's a holdover from it being pre-owned or something. Yeah.
It might be. I don't know, but yeah, that pissed me off. But not really. The mechanics are pretty sound. I say the thing that kind of bugs me the most at times is definitely the settlement building. Not that the instructions are bad, but you can't put certain objects here, or you can't put certain crops here, or no, the water pumps have to go here. It's like, dude, seriously? Or you can't scrap certain materials. I'm like, I could really use this material to build something, put something more valuable here. So I settlement building is kind of a hard part, but I hated it too much.
I hated building the wall. Like I built a huge a metal wall around the first island, the first town that come across, and it bugged me because you could build it out, and then suddenly you hit this one spot where you can't go straight, but you can't curve, and so you have to go at a weird angle, and there's this weird gap underneath the wall.
Yeah,
it bugged me. And plus, having to constantly scrap a bunch of stuff, and then having that weigh you down.
Well, I mean, I store most of my junk in my settlements, and I found a cool glitch to get a whole bunch of scrap material. So,
cool.
Yeah, I love those glitches when they work out for you.
Yes, and this glitch has worked out beautifully for me. All
right. What is your least and your favorite enemy to face?
Oh, shoot. I don't really favorite and least favorite enemy. Oh boy, I don't. Okay. I really hate facing blood bugs. They are annoying as hell. And honestly,
PlayStation sucks. It sucks.
Chris, you can't just join us how long have you been
in when we're almost done?
You can't just join us now and barge in like that, Chris. That's not how this show works.
That actually is the definition of trolling people. So, Chris, you're a troll right now.
So I really hate facing blood bugs.
Thank you.
Yeah. Favorite enemy? Oh boy. I kind of get a bit of a joy out of taking down raiders, especially with a melee weapon, like either my special sword or combat knife. Just getting in their face, especially after taking a dose of psycho, just getting right in their face and just hearing their screams and mutilating them. Oh my god! Especially with the right perk where you actually. Their bodies just explode, and you see their organs, just watch their organs fly all over the place. That's kind of fun.
To this date, my favorite Fallout kill was in Fallout. I was playing Fallout 3, and I was down the sewers, and I saw a raider on top of a subway car, took out a scoped pistol, like a scoped 44 Magnum, used VATS, hit him point blank in the chest. And literally, his head, his arms, and his legs all popped off at the same time. It was the best kill ever. It was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, you get quite a bit of those in Fallout 4, especially headshots. Just you get a right headshot, especially in VATS, just their heads just go boom. It's fun.
Yep. I think that's actually a holdover from the original Wasteland game. That was the kind of spiritual predecessor to Fallout, because it was a text-based adventure game. But when sometimes if you killed an enemy hard enough, it would say they exploded like blood sausage, or their bodies evaporated into a fine red paste.
Man, can't claim to have seen anything that cool in Kingdom Hearts.
No, you got to get mature rated for that.
Yeah, we just got rated E for everyone back when that was actually a rating.
Nothing wrong with Kingdom Hearts, though. Nothing wrong.
No, not at all. Not at all. Colton, anything else?
Yeah, any more questions about Fallout? No, I think I'm good. Seems like we've covered it. Feels like the people about covered it. Sounds like an interesting game, but actually. And a minute, try to sort of explain what the game is about, so to speak.
Okay, without spoiling anything, you start as a new protagonist character, choose either male or female. You start off in the year 2077 in Boston, Massachusetts, so it's local for me and Mike. It's the day that a great war begins between the U.S. and communist China. Your family goes down into a vault. You're put in cryostasis, cryo-freeze. And when you finally wake up, your son's kidnapped, your spouse is dead, and it's 210 years in the future. So the story of the game basically revolves around you as the sole survivor, as you're called. It revolves around you getting answers, finding your son, and dealing with the four main factions of what remains of Boston, Massachusetts, now known as the Commonwealth.
Interesting.
So it's kind of open role-playing game. You know, you can either side with a particular faction, side with multiples if you play the game right, or you can go it alone.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, actually. And like, not enough for me to might have to watch a few Let's Plays or so. Walkthroughs.
And it's really a game that lends itself to multiple playthroughs.
It's really cool being able to like walk through like Concord and Lexington. And I'd say like a post-apocalyptic Concord and Lexington, but if you know the cities well enough, you can look and it's like, oh yeah, I know that spot. I've been there.
Yes, it is weird seeing it, but the thing about the Fallout world is that, like I said, without giving too much away, even though it's like in the future, a lot of it feels like it's stuck in the 1950s.
It's a retro future.
Yeah. I can't get away without like spoiling too much, but in a way, the world was kind of stuck in the 50s. So it's like, what makes that? It's a retro future.
I mean, just watch any of the trailers for any of the Fallout games. They all have that retro future, like a very like 50s, 60s type. Like, but so it's like the radio, like the televisions are like regular televisions, but they have like big, huge like tubes and transistors and all that. But it's futuristic retro style. It's really cool.
I mean, the cars look like they're from the 50s, but they run on plutonium or nuclear fuel.
And there's plenty of Frank Sinatra music to go around.
Or that style of music.
Yeah. Especially in Fallout New Vegas.
All right. Anything else, Colton?
I think that's all my questions.
Mike, anything else?
I'm good.
All right. Final note, like that, I have never played a game like this before, and it amazed me how quickly this skyrocketed to one of my favorite games. I mean, if you're a veteran Fallout player, you probably won't like this, but if you're new to this franchise and you're thinking about, I might want to give this a try, if you can find it cheap, I'd say it's like $20 or less, give it a whirl. And if you enjoy those kind of story-heavy games that have a lot of combat to it, if you don't mind the combat, I think you'll get a kick out of this. I certainly did. And as far as the DLC goes, if you're like me, you hate paying extra for additional content. If you get on sale for $30, then go ahead and get the season pass. If it's still $50, then don't bother with it, because not all of it's worth it. But if you can find the season pass on sale for $30, go ahead. It's worth it then.
Chris, can we help you?
What are you doing?
We're just wrapping things up, Chris. So you really don't have
late.
Nintendo still sucks. It is tame as shit.
We didn't even talk about Nintendo in this shit.
Bye, Chris.
Seriously, he just shows up to troll us.
Well, anyway, one other thing I wanted to bring up about Kingdom Hearts, like Paul was talking about how he went into one level and got his ass kicked because he shouldn't have been there or something like that. So back when I was playing Kingdom Hearts, like I said, I had already got my ass handed to me a lot by the guard armor. But after that, I thought, okay, now that I've had my trial by fire, the rest of the game the next few levels should be easy. Boy, was I in for a rude awakening. I made the stupid decision. Well, actually, I didn't know I was going to wind up there. So I wind up in the Olympus Coliseum. That's the next level I go to. And because I was not prepared I was still getting used to the combat system. So I kept just dying. I kept dying over and over and over again, and I refused to leave until I actually won. So I basically battled Cerberus without, the scan feature. So I had no idea if I was ever close or not to actually taking him out. And then afterwards, I traveled to Alice to Wonderland, where after being surprised that, hey, I had to fight another giant Heartless, which is infinitely more harder than the Dark Side Heartless, and I got my butt kicked there too. And then I go to the deep jungle, and you can expect how that turns out. So after all those ridiculously hard boss fights, you can imagine my surprise when Genie Jafar was probably the easiest boss in the entire game. It's like all you have to do was attack Jafar's lamp while Jafar slowly attacks you with attacks that he like telegraphs from like a mile away or so. It's like I was so gracious of the game to finally get the players a damn break, even if I felt like Jafar was a character that deserved to have an epic boss fight, which they did, rectify in Kingdom Hearts 2. That fight was one of my favorite boss fights in the game. But yeah, I was just glad to finally have the game to like take it easy, have mercy on us, and let us, let the players breathe. So afterwards, I figured it's best to, for any newbies out there, if you ever play Kingdom Hearts, it's best that you start with Deep Jungle first, because at least once you beat that level, you get the healing spell, which will make the Olympus Coliseum a whole lot easier, because there's a lot. That level is basically like an enemy rush mode, so you'll be like wasting a lot of potions and a lot of magic, and you need every last bit you can get during that stage. And
right now, my favorite levels are in Kingdom Hearts 2 is the Tron level and the Lion King level. Those are just really amazing for me.
Indeed. And the final boss fight of Space Paranoids, I think it is, in Tron's level, that's one of my favorite in the game. Sure, we have to listen to the MCP saying, "Is that the best a user can do every 5 seconds?" But just the setting of the combos the special moves we can use fighting Giant Stark, it was just all kinds of epic. And that's, how I can basically describe this game. It's just an epic game with great action, great storytelling, great voice acting. Okay, sure, there can be some cheesy moments every now and then, like, Kingdom Hearts! Fill me with the power of darkness!
I'm just wondering if they're going to get Haley Joel Osment back to voice Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3. Because he's, I don't know if you can really get that register anymore.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It'll definitely be weird. Probably the weirdest voice acting thing was probably the fact that Jesse McCartney was the voice of Roxas, and he did a good job, actually.
Yeah.
It's not something you'd expect from a guy from a teen idol, or, well, not teen anymore, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
From a former teen idol. But one last bit of praise on what good Kingdom Hearts is its soundtrack, especially for the boss fights.
Yeah.
They're always appropriate for the occasion. My favorite boss music was the boss music that we first hear when we fight Ursula when she turns into a giant. It's just like she turns into a giant, then we can see then suddenly the music kicks in, and it just feels very appropriate for a fight against a giant enemy. And then we hear it again when we're fighting, Dragon Maleficent. Same for the first of several boss fights with Ansem. And there's also the music that plays when we're fighting the alternate mode of the guard armor. It was appropriately ominous. It's like these games really knew how to draw on people's emotions, I'd say.
I to this day, Simple and Clean is just one of my favorite all-time video game songs.
Definitely, especially how it's used in the opening. Again, we got that iconic shot of Riku reaching out towards Sora as the tidal wave is in the background, and it's like, "You're giving me too many things." That was a very good way to rope play to draw players into the game, even if I had absolutely no idea what the holy hell is going on during that sequence.
Before we wrap this, one final thing I want to give props to for Fallout 4 is that some of the companions you can get in this game are just so interesting. It's so much cool to get their backstories on, just listen to them, and the way they lend themselves to certain situations. The dialogues, like the Private Eye Nick Valentine, he's so much fun to be around as a companion. Some of the remarks he comes up are awesome. Piper is, wow. I mean, she's one of the companions you can actually romance, and I would highly recommend doing, especially if you're a male character. She is one you definitely want to have on your side. Strong, the super mutant, just does so much funny stuff. I just laugh my butt off every time he's around. And I cannot tell you the thrill I got when I played this for the first time. I mean, Codsworth, my robot butler, actually says my name. Mr. Paul, yes! She said it in a British voice, but it was just awesome to hear that.
Well, I mean, that was one of the most revolutionary thing about Fallout 4 is because you could customize your name, and they actually gave the butler so
many things to say. Like,
yeah,
the fuck does this titty?
I mean, but I mean, you can he goes with a lot of your names, a lot of the names you possibly choose.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's dog meat.
Yeah, dog meat's cool.
Yeah,
I like dog meat. All right, so after this, now that we are all finished with it, Colton, let me ask you this: do you think you're going to try playing any of the 2 games Mike and I brought up?
If I can get a new system, I think I might definitely give Psychonauts a watch or a play. And Fallout 4 sounds like a game that actually has a lot of creativity and thought put into giving it a lot of replay value and what have you. So that sounds like something I might give a playthrough also. And
right.
Hey, look, Mike, you got any other last thoughts to say about your game?
It is just hilarious. And just go into it and have fun with it, because like I said, the level designs is just, each one is just so unique and different than the last. So whenever you get into a new level, and even when you're just wandering around the camp, just enjoy it. Just you can walk past some of the other campers. You can just stand there, listen to their conversations, which are always hilarious. So yeah.
Mike, I assume you probably played Kingdom Hearts when it first came up, and I heard you mention that you played Fallout 4 at some point but stopped. Do you think, after hearing what we've been through, you think that's a game you might want to give a retry to?
Well, I might, I might have Kingdom Hearts. I might play that one again. I don't know, maybe. And Fallout 4, yeah. I mean, like I said, I started playing it, and it was fun. I made it through. I think I rescued the first group from the museum.
The Minutemen, Preston and Harvey, yeah.
Yeah, I brought them back to my town. I built the wall and built like a generator and a water purifier and all that. And maybe it is like the whole building the settlement thing. I also did it at the drive-in theater. The
Red Rocket Trucks, or Starlight Drive-In.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I did the same thing there. But after building, I was like, why did I do that? I mean, it's cool that I got this like little base, but there's nothing to do here. So, I mean, maybe I was just like, because I loved Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, so maybe Fallout 4 was just a little bit too different for me to kind of kind of really get my grips into it. But I did enjoy most of what I played. So yeah, I'll definitely. I still get it on Steam. I'll when I'm done with the Psychonauts playthrough again, I'll give it a shot.
Well, sounds to me like you may, because if you're going to go with like a Minutemen playthrough, like if you're going to be siding with the Minutemen, you're going to be doing a lot of settlement building and defending and whatnot. So maybe that's just not a faction you should sign. Maybe you should go with like the Railroad or the Brotherhood, because they're not really do too much with that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm too nice of a guy.
Yeah,
it's hard for me to play the bad sides of games, because I'm just I play a bad guy. I was like, oh, I want to help him out though.
I know. Well, but then again, I gleefully slaughtered people during my playthrough of Grand Theft Auto 4, so maybe I'm not so good as I claim.
I mean, that's the cool thing about video games. Like, you can do things you can't do in real life. Just release some of that tension. Like, I wonder what it would feel like to do this.
Yeah, you should see some. You should see my
do it safely too.
You should see my Sith characters in Star Wars: The Old Republic. Yeah, I'm like this badass Sith warrior. It's like, no, I won't kill your dog. Don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it. I won't kill you. Don't worry. Oh yeah, no, don't worry. I'm good. Don't worry. It's like, oh man, for a Sith, I'm a pussy. What the hell?
You should have seen me during the very first Assassin's Creed, when I was like, every time a beggar showed up, at first I like tried to just casually push them out the side. Maybe,
those beggars pissed me off.
After a while, I thought, okay, you know what, fuck this, and I actually started killing them, even though it was against the rules of the game to do so, and you get penalized for it. But I was just so they're just making the game so difficult for me that I just had to. I'm like, I'm not going to make any progress in this stage if they keep pestering me.
You know what? That was one of the reasons I stopped playing Assassin's Creed 1 the first time around, and then I went back to it. I'm like, you know what? I can't play by the creed. So even though I would never kill the beggars, I did have fun either punching them or shoving them. And that's what I would do.
I love shoving. I love shoving them into the river or off a cliff. I did that a couple times.
Yeah, but
It's like I didn't kill him, and it didn't hurt my creed. So hey, I'm cool.
that was a fun game for sure. I think my only problem with that one was the fact that you had to find levels rather than being told where to go was just probably very annoying. But that's another story.
Assassin's Creed 1, it was a bit of a chore to get through for me. Assassin's Creed 2, I sat and played that one a week straight. I could not put that one down.
It was a trial run. Assassin's Creed
1. After going through this, I don't know if I'll ever play Kingdom Hearts because truth be told, I've never been into that turn-based RPG style of gaming. Like
it's actually more. It's an action RPG.
All right. I don't know, but Psychonaut, I don't know. I might have to watch a Let's Play of it. If that seems interesting, I might give that one a try.
Yeah. At the very least, do a Let's Play for Kingdom Hearts. I mean, because you'll definitely see the appeal of it, I think, despite how cheesy I might admit it sound.
All right, guys. So that is going to wrap up episode 114. This was a fun episode to do. Colton, thank you very much for being here.
I'm glad to be here, and I agree with you. I really enjoyed this. I hope to do it again sometime.
Might have to do another gaming interrogation with other games at some point. Mike,
hopefully more people.
Yeah, Mike, it was a pleasure having you here.
Pleasure to be here. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing more gaming interrogations because I've got a few games. I got just a few that I could talk about. Yeah, just got one or two.
I got a few of those.
Just a couple.
I got a few more too. I might want that I almost chose before going with Kingdom Hearts instead. Uncharted.
So,
yeah, nice.
So next week, guys, I'm gonna try and get started on this superhero background episodes that I'm talking about. We're like exploring the world in which certain characters were brought into, how they may have impacted. I'm gonna try and get that started next week, but no promises on that. It's taking a bit of effort to work through that. So
no problem.
We'll improvise something else. So we will see you next week. Until then, have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah.